If this is our first time together, I'm Myra with Vial Designs, and in this tutorial I'll show you how to create a DIY thank you card using colorful bubble lettering with a graffiti style twist step by step. Let's dive right in. We're gonna start with cardstock or mixed media paper. Mine is 7 by 5 inches and a pencil to sketch. First, we're gonna write the word thank in block lettering, just like you see here. The second step in creating the bubble lettering is outlining the block lettering that we did and making sure that we make it as thick as we want to and with rounded edges. If you want a full step-by-step tutorial of how to create each letter of the alphabet, uppercase, lowercase, all of that, I have several tutorials that I'm going to link in the description down below so you can continue learning how to make even more bubble lettering. Now, I'm also going to add links to all the tools that I'm going to be using here, so be sure to check the description. And once I'm done outlining the letters and I'm satisfied with how the letters look, I'm going to go ahead and erase the block lettering that I did at the beginning. And we're going to repeat the same process for the word you. First, we're going to write it in block lettering. We're going to add the exclamation point so everything is even and distributed. We're going to do the outlines to the block lettering, and then once we're satisfied, we're going to erase the block letters. Now this right here is called a knitter eraser, and I like to use this to erase most of the tracing but not completely. This is going to be helpful so we don't have to erase at the end. And for this coloring of the letters, we're going to create a really cool effect by adding these wavy lines in the middle of our phrase. And I'm going to be using the Arteza Everblend marker Fuchsia A486. I'm going to be using this to color the top and the bottom of the phrase. For the middle of the phrase, I'm going to be using the Arteza Everblend marker Teal A265. Now for the outline, I'm going to be using the Sharpie Roller 05, and I'm going to outline the letters, and then I'm going to be adding the shadow to the right and slightly towards the bottom of each stroke of the letters. Now you can also choose to do it to the left and to the top of each part of the letters, keeping in mind that the parts of the letters where they overlap with each other, we're going to skip the shadow on those parts. Now let's make these bubble letters pop even more by adding highlights, and for this I'm using this Posca paint pen extra fine. And usually what you would like to do is to add the highlights to the opposite of where you put the shadows. Now if this is the first time that you're using the pen, make sure you activate it by shaking it a lot and activate it in a scrap piece of paper. For the highlights, we're just going to do a line following the form of the letter, and at that we do recommend that you let the marker dry and then go over it again. If you want to get a little bit more opaque highlight, you could also use a white jelly roll pen to add the highlights. As you may have already know, I love using my glitter gel pens to color my bubble lettering, and this was my first time coloring with alcohol markers, but I do have to give credit where credit is due. I first saw this type of coloring from Mural Do Graffiti. I found him on Pinterest if you want to check more of his work. Now this is how the DIY thank you card with bubble lettering looks, and I think it's perfect like this. But if you want to take it up a notch and create a graffiti lettering style thank you card, I'm going to show you how you can do that in a few simple steps. But before that, if you learned something from this video, please give it a like, because that increases the chances of YouTube showing it to more lettering enthusiasts like you. Back to the tutorial, I'm going to be using a slightly darker pink than I used before. This one is the hot pink A4887, and you're going to want to create an outline around the whole phrase and then color it inside that outline. Now we're gonna create the paint drip effect for the graffiti letters, and for this, from the edge of the letter you're gonna put a line downward just like you see here, and then you're gonna round it at the end with a teardrop shape and connect it back, and this is how you have a mini drip. And you're gonna continue adding these mini drips around the phrase only on the bottom part, and then we're gonna add some circles and dots to add more of a paint splatter to the graffiti lettering style. Next, we're gonna use this silver metallic paint pen to make this phrase pop even more, and for that we're gonna add an outline to each of the words just like you see here. And to make it even easier for you to recreate this card, I turn it into a traceable template that you can grab from my Patreon at patreon.com/Vial Designs. Of course, I'm gonna add the link to it in the description. And I really hope you found this video helpful. This is the final result of our DIY thank you card with bubble lettering and graffiti style. And I hope you really like it. You enjoyed this tutorial. If you want to keep learning more about bubble lettering, make sure you check out this video next. I will see you there.